What's good, everyone? Hopefully you guys are enjoying the weekend, whatever is left over. Now, for those that watched the other video with the tech hit being tested on Super Battle Road, you probably saw a little bit of a glimpse of these units, but I wanted to dedicate a showcase for these two GT units, and they're quite frankly pretty good. And they do work out well with each other. They kind of combo off of each other, so to speak, within their passive skill set. So we'll go ahead and get into it and just talk about the units. So I'll start with the GT Perfect Form Cell unit. For the leader skill, you are looking at Extreme Type Ki plus 2 HP attack and defense, increase of 90%. So not a bad leader skill, especially for events like Battlefield. For the super attack, it will cause supreme damage and also steals super attack. The passive skill, attack and defense increase of 80% plus an additional attack increase of 100%. It attacks effective against all types when the target enemy is stunned. So you'll see the Frieza unit's skill set, but remember this unit does have the ability to steal super attacks based on the his own super attack. Now, in terms of the links, you're looking at Gentleman, that's plus 2 Ki, Brainiacs, attack and defense increase of 10%, Shocking Speed is plus 2 Ki, Ultimate Lifeform plus 2 Ki, Nightmare is 10% increase to attack, GT is plus 2 Ki, and finally Shattering the Limit is another plus 2 Ki. This unit falls into 4 categories: Androids, Transformation Boost, Time Travelers, and Artificial Lifeforms. The showcase is going to be on the Transformation Boost because both the units do fall into that category. Now, at 100% potential, the stats are going to be the following: HP of 14,274, attack of 13,170, and defense is 9,424. 12 Ki Multiplier is 150%, and you can actually farm this unit's SA within the story event with the free-to-play GT Cell unit. Now, moving on to the GT Frieza unit. Leader skill is pretty similar, it's just a different type. So extreme physical types get plus 2 Ki, HP attack and defense increase of 90%. So again, a good secondary lead for the battlefield settings. The super attack will cause supreme damage with a medium chance to stun the enemy. So again, you saw the ability for GT Cell to be able to increase that attack and effective attack against all types based on, you know, if the enemy is stunned. In this case, this Frieza unit's going to help out with that. In contrast, passive skill for this unit is attack and defense increase of 80% plus an additional attack increase of 100%, and attacks effective against all types when the target enemy's super attack is sealed. So as long as Cell is sealing the SA for the enemies, this guy's going to get that extra boost. For the links, you're looking at Prodigy's attack increase of 10%, Universe's Most Malevolent is 15% to attack, Shocking Speed is plus 2 Ki, Strongest Clan in Space is plus 2 Ki, Nightmare is another 10% to attack, GT is plus 2 Ki, and again, Shattering the Limit is plus 2 Ki as well. This unit only falls into 2 categories, so again, Transformation Boost is one, and the other being the Wicked Bloodline. For the stats at 100%, you are looking at HP levels of 14,396, attack of 13,058, and defense is 9,302. 12 Ki Multiplier again is 150%. And again, this unit can be farmed in terms of the SA levels because of the free-to-play version in the story event, which honestly, the free-to-play unit is actually pretty good too. Definitely a pretty decent supporting unit with the passive skill. So for the simplicity of this showcase, I did pair these guys up in the same rotation. Just basically switched on and off between the first and second slot depending on the types of enemies, if they are, you know, subject to being stunned or having their SA sealed. Now in some cases, like the Ultra Instinct Goku right here, you know, he's immune to both being sealed SA and also being stunned, so it doesn't really apply in terms of the secondary passes for both the units. But again, for the simplicity of the video, I just paired them up in the same rotation and then brought in a couple of units that link up, or you know, supporting type units like Kid Buu. Kid Buu does not share any links with either of these units. However, you know, the passive skill, as you know, is very good, so it's worthwhile to include on the same rotation. Now, if you're playing through this on an actual run, it's probably best, I've said this before, but it's probably best to have them in offsetting rotations, so that way, you know, the very next turn, the other unit, if one of the two applications of SA being sealed or the enemy being stunned, you know, they basically offset each other in terms of maximizing the possibility of getting that secondary active or secondary passive skill active, basically, you know, with the attack increase of 100% and then the attacks effective against all types. So that's probably the best way to go about it. But again, just to make things a little bit more fluid, I kept these guys in the same rotation. Honestly, if you're looking for more of a realistic showcase, well, not showcase, but like testing of the units, definitely refer to the Super Battle Road video. I'll go ahead and pin it in the, I'll put it in the pinned comment. That way you guys have a link to it. You know, in some cases it's not always going to be forced in terms of, you know, basically having the, you know, passive skill fully effective, but, you know, most times it's not always the case that you're going to be in a ideal situation, you know what I mean? Like, sometimes you're just going to have to go with the flow, depending on the types of enemies that are coming at you and placement of units accordingly. So at the end of the day, you know, it's all about the proper, you know, I guess practicality in terms of verbiage. But these units are definitely pretty good. And they, I don't know, like in my experience, they did tend to drop in summons like quite a few times. So it's definitely one of the more units that tend to be pulled off the summons, but you know, it's all good. But yeah, just saying that, you know, I think the biggest advantage to have these units is probably, you know, like events like Battlefield, but also Super Battle Road. These units could definitely help out tremendously. The video that I was referring to was Super Battle Road on the Extreme type stage. Basically Rose leads, so you're only dealing with 120% leads, and it wasn't too bad in terms of clearing that particular stage. So these guys definitely do help out a lot. You know, one unit seals SA, the other stuns enemy with a medium chance. And if in cases those apply, these guys become much more powerful as well. I mean, attack increase of 100% definitely, you know, you definitely do see a difference. I mean, it's a matter of, I'd say like, I don't know, like 900-ish thousand in terms of attack stats, and that'll bump up to roughly about 1.5 million, depending on, you know, if that attack increase of 100% applies, and then on top of that, their attacks will be effective against all types. So, you know, that definitely does make a difference, and you know, it can help out a lot. Now, in terms of the potential levels, I think for the GT Cell, pretty much went with a heavy focus on the critical side. Now, for the Frieza unit, I'm pretty sure I went with level like 14 for additional attack and level 12 for criticals. It's either that or the 11-15 method, but I'm pretty sure it was the 14-12 distribution, if I remember correctly. Because, you know, the medium chance of stun, it's not it's not guaranteed. It's only a 25% chance. So if you are able to get an additional attack for another super, it tends to help. You know, if you miss it one time, it could possibly kick in the next time around. So it could definitely be beneficial to have that set up. But again, both units are pretty good. Now, the Dokkan events, you know, a lot of the bosses seem to be immune to both being stunned and having SA sealed, so it doesn't necessarily apply in those cases, but at the same time, it's a good way to see how much in damage they can apply, or, you know, what their attack stats are basically like without the 100% attack increase. You know what I mean? So it gives you like both flip sides of the coin, one with, you know, the active and one not being, you know, the secondary passive not active, basically. So regardless, these guys are pretty good. I think they're more of a supporting cast member on a team. You know, they do apply decent damage, but I think the benefit comes in from, you know, the fact that one can still SA and the one can stun the enemy with a medium chance. So that's basically where it comes in. And on the enhanced transformation team, they do link up pretty well for the most part. You know, you could certainly include different units to, if you do run them on an offsetting rotation, like the Frieza unit would pair up pretty well with the Golden Frieza unit, because the Golden Frieza unit is a pretty good support overall. The GT Cell unit, there's a couple of variations. I mean, you could pair them up with a World Tournament Cell or any other Cell units, or, you know, like whatever the case is, but this isn't really the most ideal situation. Again, for the simplicity of the video and showcase, I did want to pair them up together on the same rotation, just to just so you'll be able to see it all at once, basically. But ideally, you probably do want to run it on an offsetting setup where, you know, they're basically coming up every other round, basically, and you know, they're alternating rotations, basically, is probably the best way to put it. But, you know, at the end of the day, they're pretty good, in my opinion, and they're, you know, they're not the strongest of units, but they do have their skill sets that benefits the overall team. So I think that's probably the best way to classify these units. They help the rest of the team out, basically, and in honesty, I mean, in all honesty, sometimes that can be more beneficial than having a much more stronger unit on the team versus them, because it's all about the overall balance of the team and how fluid and how they flow together, you know what I mean? So that's really one of the things you definitely do want to factor in. Alright, so this is again the showcase for the 100% potential for the GT Cell and GT Frieza unit. Again, as always, I hope you enjoyed the video. I do appreciate you guys watching every time and definitely showing some love, so I do appreciate that, and want to say, you know, on every video that I do, I am grateful. So alright, well, that's it for the showcase. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys later.